Satnam Aloha and happy full moon. And this video is on the full moon. And the time of the recording is actually the full moon is happened 3 hours ago, less than 3 hours ago. So we're in the energy of the full moon. And remember, it's 3 days before and 3 days after. We're in the full moon energy. So what I'm going to go over today, so you just have the heads up here. And I always have timestamps. Sometimes there's a delay, but I've got timestamps so you can see by theme for the people that want to jump around. But I would suggest to watch the whole thing and listen to the whole thing here. And that's why I'm releasing on Saturdays, dropping on Saturdays now, because people have a lot more time if they're driving or walking or doing their chores and stuff, right? You can listen to it. But you want to see the images too. Okay, so what we're going to go over is we're going to go over the full moon in the 44. And what does that mean for us? How will this impact you? And how does this relate to the ending of the 400-year cycle that we're in 2026? We're entering a whole new 400-year cycle in 2027 called the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix. So these transits are helping you to prepare for this new energy that's coming in. So the goal right now for you is to align yourself, disentangle from the old consciousness and the old way of being, and then align with this new consciousness. So that's my intention, is to help you with that as a projector on in the human design system. So remember, you can get your free chart below, right? And then follow along, okay, these transits. So this is a good addition to your astrology. If you're checking out astrology YouTubers too, to put this in too, right? Okay, so if we look at the full moon, it's in the 44th gate here. We'll just go over the data here. And we've got the 25 and the 51. The channel of initiation is defined. And then the channel of community is defined as well. So that's the nodes. And these nodes are going to switch this month. So that's a big deal. But that's another video that I'll talk about. So what's this gate 44 about? Let's talk about the full moon. So full moon in Scorpio, and it's in the 44th gate. So this is about the past, right? So the gate 44 is not about looking forward. It's about looking to your past. Right? There it is there. It's off the spleen there. So every gate in the spleen, the splenic awareness, represents a fear. So this is the fear is repeating past mistakes. So what you're looking for with this energy is you're looking to the past patterns, right? So are you looking through your two eyes and your head and mind? No, you're looking with your body. Right? So your body is recognizing patterns from the past. And this is all about fractal. So we're going to go deeper into fractal, because I've had some people say, well, you have mentioned fractal a lot. What do you mean by that? Well, we're going to talk about it. Right? So 44 is looking to the past. It's looking backwards through your field, your information field. So it's scanning. The full moon is illuminating your past relationships, your past decisions, and your past energetic contracts, right? And it's asking one thing: have I seen this before? Have I seen this pattern before? And the answer right now is yes, right? If you're aligned with your authentic self right now, you're getting lots of intel about your past and the patterns that you've been playing out. So this is your gut, right? This is your spidey sense, the thing that you know before your mind can catch up and explain it, right? You just know. So let's do a practical example, right, to ground it. Right? You meet someone new and you feel your chest tighten, or you feel slightly on edge, irritable. and you can't explain why. It's slight, right? It's subtle. And your mind says, well, they seem nice, they seem interesting, right? I'm curious about them, but this is the mind. But your body is like, I've seen this before, right? And I know how it's going to end. It didn't end well. So, of course, what do? We override our bodies. We override our knowingness with our minds. This is gate 44. Or you walk into a room and you instantly feel relaxed, right? You instantly just feel relaxed, or you instantly feel alert, like you're on high alert, before anyone has said anything, right? So that's not your intuition as a concept, a mental concept. That's your body is reading the pattern in the room, right? Or you get a text from someone and your stomach drops, or you feel a little bit a hit of dread before you even start to read it. That's your body recognizing the pattern of that relationship before your mind can catch up. So gate 44 doesn't think. Gate 44 is not thinking, right? This is about your body. It's not thinking, I don't trust them. It feels like there's something off here, and it's fast, right? The spleen communicates very, very fast, quickly. So the fractal, if you look at the fractal here, here, I got another, there's the fractal. So fractals we see in nature. They're all in nature, right? So it's a pattern that repeats at every scale. So things that are similar, infinite, and they're interconnected. So you can see here, like with the galaxy, if you magnify it in, you'll see the spiral arms or star systems, planet surfaces. You see it really in nature a lot, even in nature, like the fern leaf. It spirals and it repeats, right? And it repeats. So it's a pattern that repeats at every scale, And the universe is not random. It has these fractals, right? These fractals. So you can see lightning is an example of that. Snowflakes, river deltas too, mineral crystals. So this is the self similarity. The whole contains the same pattern as its parts. It's infinite, it's complex, it's endless detail. No matter how deep you zoom, you see the same. So this is the natural order of the universe, and it emerges from simple rules repeated over and over. So patterns echo across different scales and systems. So that's a fractal. So this also works with people, right? So you belong to a fractal. And here we are here, right? Here's the Phoenix fractal. Let's use this as an example. Maybe you really resonate with my messages, right? Maybe you just relax. Your body relaxes when you listen to me. Those are signs that you're on my fractal. Or you may be on a different fractal and you just come and watch. That's okay too. But we're all on these fractal lines. These are our soul allies. And these are the people that are destined to help you to contribute, to make a contribution, meaning your soul purpose. You've come here to deliver a soul purpose, and your true allies are the ones that help support you in that, right? But what happens with the false, a lot of us end up in false fractals, and that was the way of the cross of planning, right? So often someone is attracted to another person that's not on their fractal, and this is the ancestral karmic cleansing that's happening. That's why there's so much conflict and drama in most relationships, fighting and arguing and, cheating and money problems and all that stuff, because it's not aligned. You're not aligned with that person. They're not on your fractal line, right? But this is what clears up the karma. So what's happening for 2027 we're getting cleared. And that's why you're seeing the musical chairs with relationships. People are leaving relationships, entering new relationships, or they're on lockdown. And that means that they're single. They've been single a long time because they're purifying their frequency. This is all connected to the 44th gate. They're purifying their frequency so that they can send out a pure signal so their fractal can find them, right? Okay, so let's look at, so you can see on the fractal line, there's no hierarchy on the fractal line. You're just at different phases. People on your fractal line are different phases on the path, right? So it's different timing. But you're running the same pattern. You're running the same pattern just at different points. So this means that you're going through the same thing as certain people, but just at different times. So let's ground it, right? Let's ground this. Let's say you go through a brutal breakup, right? You go through a brutal breakup and you finally figure out, I was abandoning myself. I kept choosing people who couldn't meet me, couldn't meet my depth, right? I was performing. I was playing a role to be loved. I was earning love, right? And then you share that truth publicly, right? You share it publicly. You let people know about this, right? And then people on your fractal will say, it's exactly what I'm going through right now. They're not copying you. They're just on the same pattern, but maybe they're further back, right? Maybe you're way up here and they're further back. Maybe they're in it and you're talking about it. Yeah, this happened like 5 years ago to me, right? But there's a resonance with the pattern. It's about the patterns. So the example, let's say the relationship where you disappear, where someone on the fractal just disappears. You used to walk on eggshells around his moods, whatever his moods were. You stopped bringing things up because it wasn't worth the fight. There'd always be a fight or an argument if you brought things up. You started doubting your own memory of things that he said, and you felt crazy for feeling crazy, right? The crazy making, gaslighting. And eventually you realized, I'm not crazy. I'm just not allowed to have my own perception here and my own reality, right? There's no room for that. He's the one that's narrating what's going on, what the reality is for both of us, right? So you finally left this relationship, not because he was bad, because you couldn't breathe anymore, right? So there's an example here. Let's look at somebody further down the path on your fractal. She's still in it. She's still saying to herself, oh, it's not that bad, right? Making excuses for him, making excuses for the relationship. She's still explaining and defending his behavior to her friends. And she still believes if I just communicate better, if I just explain myself better, he'll finally get it. But the last week, with this full moon in Scorpio, she caught herself editing a text 3 times before sending it, just to make sure it wouldn't set him off or he would correct her, right? Or completely gaslight her reality, right? This is the catch. That's the full moon in Scorpio. It's like Scorpio doesn't play. Scorpio doesn't care about your comfort, right? And Scorpio doesn't care about your safety and security, right? And your excuses. Scorpio only cares about the truth. So this is what's being revealed. So don't look away. Oh, look at me. Look what I'm doing, right? So the crack is, right? The crack that comes in with the illumination of the full moon in Scorpio in the 44 is you notice yourself, you become aware of like, oh, look at me correcting something, some stupid little grammar thing in my text, like rereading my text over and over again. That's the gate 44 that's firing, right? So this is the same pattern. right? So you'll meet someone maybe further up the spiral there on your pattern. You further up, are you going to recognize that woman that's further down? Oh, yeah. Maybe the details are different, but the pattern is the same. This is about pattern recognition. Let's use another example just to really land this, right? And let us know in the comments if you're relating to this. Maybe you spent years crafting the perfect version of yourself online, right? The outfit, the relationship, your lifestyle, everything's curated. You know exactly which angle makes you look the best, the happiest. You felt like you were performing. Everything was a performance in your life. And one day you realized, who am I when nobody's watching me, when nobody's liking my posts and my reels? Who am I when no one's watching? You stop performing. You stop putting on an act, a dog and pony show, and you started feeling. You started feeling the emptiness. And it was messy, and it was awkward, and it was real, right? So then you look, you can see the pattern in another person on your fractal, right? That other person is still checking how many likes I have, still choosing restaurants based on how they look in their story, right? Still choosing things for the attention, for the validation of others. Still saying yes to things she doesn't want to do because the photo op is good. I'm going for the photo op. But this night she posted something real. This is right, how the 44 works. Maybe you posted something real, something authentic, something vulnerable, right? And then you deleted it 20 minutes later because it didn't fit with your curated image. That delete, catching yourself deleting, that's the crack, right? That's the full moon showing you, right? That you want it to be seen, but you're not ready to, like, seen as you really are, but you're not really, you want to control how that's going to look. So it's the same pattern, but it's a different timing, right? So this is what I posted, this meme, right? This is and I talked about this in the 8th gate, my last video. Are you hiding behind a false image that gets you applause, that gets you validation, right? That this is the performance. And the full moon says this real self that you've stuffed down, that you don't show anybody, not even your intimate partner, refuses to stay hidden. Because this is what's real. This is what's fake. This new era of the cross of the sleeping phoenix will no longer support this false image, this cardboard cutout that you run around and put in front of you all the time. That's why you're exhausted. That's why your body's in pain. Everything is screaming for this. Your real self needs to come forward first, right? And the fear is when you come forward, that false fractal disappears because they're not aligned with who you are, right? Your true fractal is. And this is you coming back online with your pure signal, right? It's all about frequency right now. Okay, let's go back to another example. I want to really ground this for you now. Let me know if any of this is resonating with you. Let's go to the JOB. The JOB, the career that you're in, right? Maybe you had the title further up, right? You're going to resonate with either the one that's further up or the one that's actually in it right now. You had the title, right? You had the salary, the respect, the fancy clothes, the fancy car, right? The money, the bling, you had it all. Everyone said you were lucky, but you were dead inside. Right? By 3 p.m. every day, it hit you. Oh, this is empty. This is not fulfilling me. Right? You started getting sick on Sundays. You know, the anxiety. I've got to go back to work. Right? It starts in the afternoon on Sundays. Right? And you finally admitted it. Admit it to yourself, right? This looks like success, but inside I'm dying, right? The cardboard cutout. It's like it looks great. I'm getting validated for it, but inside I'm dying. There's my community applauding me. Even my family of origin are applauding me. They can be on your false fractal too. Often they are your family of origin. You quit without a plan. Scariest thing you ever did. But it's like, I can't go in. I can't go into the office anymore. I can't keep pretending, right, that this is fulfilling for me, right? So you quit without a plan. Scariest thing you ever did, but the best thing you ever did, because everything worked out when you started being your authentic self. Well, someone further down on your spiral, she's in that place, right? She's in that job, still in the meeting. That could have been an email, still in that meeting, sitting there. Could have been an easy email, right? Like just a group email and then we're done. But here we are sitting in this, though, if you've ever been in one of those, it's like it's useless. It's like, why are we here, right? Still saying it's fine, the JOB's fine, and I'm really grateful for that. Still updating your LinkedIn with all your stuff, thinking that it means anything. But you cried in the car, right? Last Tuesday for no reason. Something came on in your playlist or something, right, that you were listening to, and you just broke down and cried, like for no real reason. And you've been looking at other jobs for 8 months now. What else is out here, right, without applying? So what's the crack? It's the cry in the car, right? That's the 44. That's the full moon in Scorpio on the 44. The cry is the crack. So your body's already leaving. This has to do with your body, and your mind just hasn't caught up yet. Same pattern, different timing. And this can work in your relationships too. I'm just not happy in my relationship. I can't pretend anymore. Right? So this is when you see that other person on your fractal, the one that's editing the text, the one who deleted the real post, the one crying in her car. You're not looking at someone who doesn't get it. You're looking at yourself in an earlier point on the spiral. I often mention this too with people. When you start working with people one-on-one, maybe you're a healer or a life coach or a teacher or something. What do you try? I always said this. It's like you're attracting little yous, like little yous that are further in the spirals. They're the same pattern, but they're in a different place in the spiral. I didn't really know what I was saying, but I was describing this fractal because the little you comes and then it's like, oh, I've been through this. I totally understand what you're going through, right? And then you can really help and serve other people on your fractal. And that's what you're here to do. You're here to, and I'll talk about this with prosperity and the fractal, right? So your job when you recognize people on your fractal is not to fix her, not to wake her up or convince her. Your job is to be the proof. You're on the other side of it, that you can make it through. Yes, I left the relationship. It was the best thing I ever did, right? I may be alone, but I'm a lot happier, or I'm in a new relationship where these people are on my fractal. They get me. They can meet me. They can meet my depth. They can meet my authenticity, right? I left the JOB. I've got my shingle out. I'm doing my own thing now. Okay, I don't have the fancy car and all the money and the bling, but boy, am I happy. I'm way happier and fulfilled, right? So that's the job of the one that's been through it, what you're going through now, right? So let me know if you have people that are on your fractal. We'll start to see them more and more, right, as they disentangle from their false fractals. So, the gate 44, to remember this, doesn't work through argument. It works through recognition. So not arguing or trying to convince or persuade that person on your fractal. It works through recognition, right? The person on your fractal is going to recognize you. They'll recognize you. They'll see you. And one day that crack, right? All those catching yourself, at re-editing attacks, crying in the car, all those things, up at 3 a.m., that crack will get wider and wider and wider. And then she'll remember, right? That, oh, that person that's on my fractal, she went through this and she's okay. She succeeded. You see? So it's through recognition, not persuasion. So that's how the fractal moves, right? When you shift, your true fractal shifts with you, right? So this is what I remember too. And I've had this experience. When I go through a huge shift, I can feel my fractal is shifting with me, right? And sometimes silently, you don't hear about it, but they're shifting as you shift, right? They shift. As you out there shift, I'm shifting, right? We're all shifting together on the fractal. And what does the false fractal do? They don't shift. They react to you shifting. They want to pull you back, right? That's the false fractal. They don't grow with you. They're all about showing you the wound. That's all the false fractal is about, right? And clearing up ancestral karma. So you'll know. Right? When you reconnect with people and you've gone through, maybe you haven't talked to them in a while and you've gone through the dark night of the soul and then you connect with this person. It's like, oh yeah, I went through the same thing too. There's like a connection there, right? With the false fractal, it's like, what are you talking about? They're looking at you like like you're crazy, the stink eye, right? What? Right? They're not meeting you. Your true fractal can meet you. So it's really about the fractal. It's about recognizing that you're on the same journey. You're on the same journey as someone else. And remember, it's not everyone you meet, right? So this is the discernment that you need to learn. And this comes through trusting your body, right? Trusting your body. So let's get into the false fractal. Right? The false fractal versus the true fractal, because maybe like, I'm not sure, because there's such a glue and there's such a magnetism. Is this someone on my true fractal or my false fractal? So this is the trap, right? The trap is, so let's use a real life example, right? We'll use the artist rebel circle. Maybe you can relate to this. So the false fractal, the fractal here is they dress provocatively, but it's a uniform. It's not really their expression, their true expression. It's a uniform that they're wearing. Maybe they don't realize it, but this is what they're doing. They swear constantly, but it's just like cussing, right? And swearing. It's all about putting on the performance, right? Look at me, I'm so edgy. Right? It's not authentic. Getting drunk every weekend and right or drugged out and they call this is just me being in the flow. Maybe they do cocaine when it's free and say I'm not addicted. I just enjoy it when it's around. They cheat on their partners. They call it open or I'm just poly. You can't cage me in. Right? I'm a free spirit. They steal and manipulate, and then they brag about getting away with things like it's a skill. They talk about quantum fields and manifestation and sacred geometry, but they can't pay their rent. They sound intelligent, but their life is a mess. Behind that image, their life is a mess. They disappear when something real happens, like when someone gets sick or somebody needs help. Someone has an actual crisis. They're just gone, MIA. They all listen to the same music. They reference the same artists. They dress the same way. They call themselves, I'm an individual. I'm authentic. But they're just copying each other. So this is conformity masked as individuality. And that's the signature of a false fractal. Now translate that to whatever group that you're in right now, right? So in the moment, you may feel really alive in this group. Like the energy's high, the night is wild and crazy. Look at us, we're free spirits. I'm part of something like a movement, right? It's cool. These people are edgy, they're artists, they're interesting. You feel seen, they notice you, they include you, you're in the inner circle. But underneath, if you listen to your body, you're anxious because you can't relax because the loyalty is thin. You know there's big ropes attached to this group. You're on edge. One wrong move, one wrong thing that you say, and you'll be the one they're going to be talking about next. If they're gossiping about somebody else, you don't think they're going to gossip about you when you're not around, right? When you make a mistake and your authenticity leaks out, right? This group doesn't want authenticity. They want conformity. Empty, right? You feel empty, like the high fades when you're left with a hangover and a vague sense of none of this means anything. You're hypocritical. You're talking about consciousness, and right? And you're drunk, blacked out, right? You're fake. You're performing freedom, but you're not actually free. You're pretending you're free, but you're not free. You're chained. So after you can feel drained, not just physically, but soul drained, you know, that like I'm soul drained. You're numb. The only way to go back is to stop feeling. You feel ashamed, but you can't name why, because on paper it looks like you're living your best life. You're getting the applause for the cardboard cutout. You're lonely because you're surrounded by people that don't actually know you. They just know the cardboard cutout. So the override, and this is the false fractal, right? So your body says, this isn't real. Your body will let you know, this isn't real. This isn't me. I'm pretending. I'm playing a role. But you stay because you fear being boring. I'm boring. If I don't party, then who am I, right? Fear of being alone. These are my people. There's no one else. Fear of being judged. They'll say I couldn't handle it. I got too serious, right? You're getting too serious, right? You're getting too boring. Identity attachment. I'm an artist. This is what artists do. Right? They take no responsibility or accountability for their life. This is what they do. This is the trick, the trap. The spiritual talk hooks you, but they get it. They understand consciousness with their mind. They don't embody it. This is the trap because they sound awake, but they're living asleep. They sound like they're awake, but they're actually asleep. They're in a coma, right? They're hiding behind the cardboard cutout themselves. So how do you know it's a false fractal? Well, when something gets real, what happens? Who stays when something gets real? Who stays with you? Who meets you when something gets real? Someone gets sick. Someone loses a parent. Someone has a breakdown. Someone needs actual help. The false fractal, it's gone, disappeared. That's heavy. I can't, right now. I can't deal with this right now. The true fractal will show up. It doesn't need to be cool. It holds space even when you're messy and real and vulnerable, right? So you want to look at this, right? So where the crack is, right? The crack is, you'll notice that you're pretending that you're rebellious. You're pretending that this is who you are. You notice that the spiritual talk doesn't lead to any action. They're not embodying what they're talking about. They're just flapping, they're talking, right? They're not acting. You notice the same drama on repeat. The same drama. Maybe you're the one that runs in the crises to help these people. They're just different people, different nights, same pattern. You're seeing the pattern. You notice you feel worse after hanging out. You don't feel better after you've been around a false fractal. You notice they disappear when you really need them. Like to be present, they just disappear. They'll talk over you. That's disappearing, right? Not listening to you. And your body saying, this isn't your people. These aren't your people. And this is the pattern. That's the pattern that you're going to recognize. So you don't leave because they're bad. You leave because you can't keep shrinking yourself, dimming yourself to fit their version, right, of what freedom is. And you can't keep calling it consciousness when no one is actually conscious, right? You can't keep pretending this is art when it's just an avoidance. It's avoidance with better lighting, right? And when you leave, they'll say, she's changed, she got boring, she couldn't handle it, she couldn't hang with us, right? But the truth is, you got real, you got authentic, and authenticity is not welcome in the false fractal. So, the same with your relationships, right? Something feels off. Your body's saying something feels off, but you can't put your finger on it. You keep telling yourself it's fine. But when your gut speaks, when your body speaks, you say to yourself, I'm being too sensitive. He's really a good guy in paper. Like, everybody wants him, but I have him. He chose me. I should be grateful. That's a false fractal. You're training yourself to distrust how you feel, right? And you don't speak up, right? You won't speak up. And this is the thing too with the JOB, right? With the JOB, well, they might replace me. You're being underpaid. You're being taken advantage of, but you don't speak up because it's the fear of, like, they'll just replace me. At least I have a job. At least I've got a check. I shouldn't rock the boat. That's the false fractal. So you're silencing your knowing to keep the position. Or you're in a family. Families are loaded with false fractals, right? No one talks about real things. Everything's fine. And there's tension. You can feel it. You can feel it when you're with them, right? So you get called, like, when you try to speak the truth, right? Why do you always make this such a big deal? Why can't we just let this go? Why do we got to talk about this? This is the false fractal. You're being punished for seeing something that everyone else is pretending not to see, right? So the true fractal, right? You feel more like yourself when you're with them. The false fractal, you feel less like yourself after being with them, right? That's it. It's really simple. Do I feel like myself when I'm with my false fractal when I leave? Right? That's the sign. No, that's your false fractal. I've got to prove myself with my false fractal. I have to explain myself. I need to be clear, right? They need clarification from me, context, reassurance. Why did you say that? You got to defend yourself, prove yourself, right? They pull you back into explanation mode. They pull you out of your body. That's the false fractal. So it feels like, wait, let me explain myself better, right? So they focus on you, not themselves. They'll focus on you and not themselves. They don't go inside. The true fractal is they recognize themselves, not you. What you're saying, I recognize what you're saying. I understand what you're talking about, right? I've been there, or I'm in it right now, right? They don't need extra explanation. You don't need to explain yourself over and over and over, or defend yourself over and over again. Your simplest line, you could say one sentence, you could say a couple words, and they get it, right? They totally get it. So this can feel, when you're with the fractal, as WTF. That's exactly what I've been going through. If you're on the different, on the spiral in a different place. So the next time, right, do I have to shrink to stay in the false fractal, right? Or do I expand by being in my true fractal? Am I growing? Am I expanding? Or am I shrinking my true self? My cardboard cutout is expanding, but it's not me, right? Scorpio will show you that. No, you're being a big fake, misfakery here, right? Or is my true self expanding? So cardboard cutout expanding, that's false fractal. Your true self hiding behind the cardboard cutout starts expanding. That's your true fractal. So the next time you're unsure about a person, a group, or a situation, ask, how does my body feel? Right? Before. And then afterwards, how does my body feel? So your true fractal, you'll feel settled, you'll clearer and more you. Your false fractal, you're going to feel tense and foggy and less you. Your body already knows, right? So the question is, are you listening? Are you listening now? So one of the things too to watch, because this whole concept can be very confusing for people, especially if you've been a black sheep. And black sheep means that you've been living in a false fractal, your family of origin, your earthly mother, your earthly father, maybe your stepfather, your stepmom, even your siblings. They've been a false fractal. You've been living in a false fractal. So you don't know what a true fractal is. So this is the belief that you've got to dig up for this full moon. And that is that I will always be an outsider. I will always be an outsider. Right? So you got to dig that up, because that's the belief that allows you to stay with these false fractals. Well, this is just the way it is. It's familiar to me. It feels like home, right? My false fractal dysfunctional home. I'm just repeating the patterns. I'm repeating the pattern. So this is like from being in the wrong fractal, from since you were a baby, right? Growing up, a child, a tiny tot, right up into adolescence, teenager, until you left, right? This is all you know, is this false fractal. So this can sound like, how do you know you've got this belief? It's like, well, no one really gets me. No one's ever really gotten me. No one's understood me. I'm too much for people. I'm too intense. I'm always on the outside looking in. If people really knew me, they'd leave, right? So this is who you think you are, but it's not. It's who you had to become to survive the false fractal that wasn't yours. That's who you had to become to survive this false fractal. So what it can look like even in an intimate relationship, even your most intimate partner, he can be, or she, in a false fractal. This is like you feel lonely next to them. This is when the mind is shut down and you're lying in bed together, right? And maybe you wake up at 3 a.m. and they're right there, and you feel like you're on another planet. Not because they're bad and wrong, because your signal, your true authentic signal, your frequency, can't land in their field. It's impossible. So you say something real. Maybe you say something real and authentic that's been bothering you. What do they hear? You're attacking me. You're complaining. Why are you so negative? You share something vulnerable with them and they're trying to fix it. They're trying to fix it. You express your truth and they want to debate. They want to debate your truth with you, with their mind. And you walk away thinking like, what's wrong with me? Nothing. You're speaking a frequency they can't receive. When you're in a false, with somebody on a false fractal, it's like you're speaking another language. They're never going to get you because the frequency is a mismatch, right? So the other thing is you need to translate yourself constantly. So you're editing yourself. You rephrase things so they won't trigger them. You soften, right? So they won't withdraw and give you the silent treatment. You explain what you meant because they misunderstood. It's this re-explaining over and over again. And you stop bringing things up because it's not worth it anymore. So over time, you forget what your unedited voice sounds like. And that's the outsider identity forming, right? So this is like you're not outside them. You're not outside them. You're outside yourself. You're outside yourself. And you think the problem is you, and that's the cruelest part right here, because you're not abusive, you're not cruel. They might even love you in their way, but they can't see you, right? They don't recognize you, they don't feel you. And you can't name, right? You can't name what's missing. So it's like, I must be unlovable. I must be too complicated. I must be too intense. I must be broken. No, you're in the wrong fractal, right? And the wrong fractal will always make you feel like the problem is you when you're in the wrong fractal. And then you pretend this is what it looks to belong. You learn what they like, right? What they respond to, what makes them feel comfortable, what they like, right? You would start adapting this stuff. So you become the chill partner. Oh, he can be free to do whatever he wants because that's what he wants. He wants freedom. Maybe he wants to be poly, and you're not poly, you're all mono, right? I want the monogamous relationship. I want a committed relationship, but no, I have to be what he wants. Oh yeah, let's do poly. Let's bring someone else, the unicorn, into our relationship. That's not you. You become the low maintenance one. No, I have no needs. It's all about him, right? And what he wants. I'm the one that doesn't need too much. I'm the one that understands him, right? Because you've just like been the chameleon and becoming what he wants, right? And eventually you realize that I've been pretending that, that I belong with him in this false fractal. And maybe you're trying to twist yourself into a pretzel to belong into his fractal, which isn't your fractal. That I forget what true belonging actually feels like. I've made so many compromises, right? And the other thing, how you know, is you're homesick for your actual home. No, like your spiritual home. I don't know where home is. So this is the gate 44. The shadow of gate 44 is interference. Your body searching for a signal. Your body knows what home feels like. It remembers. Your body remembers, not from this lifetime, but past lives, right? My body knows what the signal is, but I can't find it. That's the shadow of interference with the 44. So this is like walking into a room and you're supposed to be somewhere else, living somewhere, and you're supposed to be living somewhere else, feeling a pull towards something that you can't name, getting emotional for no reason when you see certain people, places, or art, right? Feeling more seen by a stranger in 5 minutes than by your partner in 5 years. Right? This is your fractal memory is activating, right? So this is part of the full moon energy. It's your fractal memories activating. And your body is saying, I know what belonging feels like, and this isn't it, right? So with the shadow here, with full moon in the 44, it's interference. It creates interference, the shadow. So you're picking up the wrong signals. You mistrust your body and you misread people. So interference could be like there's something off, but I feel like there's something off in this relationship, but they're telling me it's fine, right? You're kind of crazy. You're just being paranoid. You're being oversensitive. So you believe them, right? That's interference. You sense distance, but they say, oh, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. So you accept it. You know something's not right, but you can't prove it. So you override it, right? So the interference isn't about them blocking your signal. It's you learning to distrust. You're distrusting yourself, your own reception, right? So the other thing too that I wanted to mention was the ancestral karma clearing, why we're drawn to people who are not on our fractal. And that's ending in 2026. 2027, there's going to be more alignment with people on our fractal. So we're going to see a whole different relationship paradigm start to surface, right, for 2027. So you chose, why did you choose this person not on your fractal, or this group of people not on your fractal? Well, it's a repeated pattern from your family line. It activated an unresolved loop from your ancestors, and it forced you to feel something your lineage couldn't process at the time. So here you are, you're doing the same thing with one difference. You're starting to feel it, right? You're starting to feel it. And that's the crack. You're starting to feel this misalignment with the people in your life. And that's gate 44, waking up. So this is the ancestral pattern that's actually becoming conscious through you, right? Okay, so you're clearing what your bloodline couldn't, right? So the relationship, this is not about beating yourself up like, oh, I made a mistake to be in this relationship. It was a purification chamber. It forced you to feel the loneliness that your ancestors couldn't name, right? Your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother couldn't name this loneliness. And the loneliness was being in the wrong fractal. You can name now the self-abandonment. Well, this is just what you do. You abandon yourself. This is what your lineage completely normalized. Well, this is just what you do when you're in the tribe, in a marriage, you abandon yourself. You recognize the pattern so that it can stop with you, right? And this is why it hurts so much. So you're not feeling your pain, you're feeling generations of silence finally being broken. The silence is being broken. So when you start trusting your knowing, that's what this full moon is saying, is to start trusting your knowing. You're seeing the pattern. Full moon, Scorpio in the 44th gate, you're seeing the pattern. You're feeling it in your body. When you start trusting your knowingness again, then you stop editing yourself. You stop doing things to belong that aren't authentic to you. You stop accepting, well, this just is how it is, right? This is just what it means to be married, right? You start saying what you actually feel, and the relationship will either transform, right? Will either transform, and this is very rare. I don't want to lie to you, very rare. Only if that person is ready to meet you. And if they're on your false fractal, they're not. They're not going to meet you because it's frequency. They're not on your frequency. They got a different signal, a different field. Or it ends, and this is more common because your frequency no longer matches. So either way, the pattern breaks with you, and not just for you, but everyone who came before you, right? And what you do is you help heal. You help heal because you're sending out a pure signal to your fractal line, on your true fractal line. So everybody, right? Everything shifts with you. The whole fractal shifts when you shift, right? So this is like, you weren't unlovable. You weren't broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You were just clearing a pattern that made love impossible for generations, like real love in your ancestral line impossible. And you're the one that's finally breaking it, right? Okay. So where are we with time? I didn't think it would be this long, but I'm just loving this subject. Okay, so we remember the 3740. This is part of the cross of planning, the old model. And so the old model is, I'll give you this, you give me that, right? The bargain. If I stay, you provide, right? So this is about tribal survival. So relationships, how relationships worked for the last 400 years, at least, is you married for security. You stayed for the children, you belonged because you had a role, and you didn't leave because the tribal, right? This tribal consciousness was about survival, right? The relationship wasn't about emotional truth. It was about keeping the system alive, right? So this would be like you stay because he pays the bills, right? He's got the money, he's got more money than you. The kids need a father, right? Your family expects it. You don't know who you'd be if you were alone. You don't think that you would survive if you were alone, right? So you talk yourself out of it. Well, at least he's not abusive, right? And what does he stay? He stays because she keeps the house running, right? She manages my emotions. She takes on my emotions for me. She feels them for me. She makes him look good, right? She makes him look good. She's attractive, right? In his fractal, she's like a trophy. He doesn't have to feel anything because she's feeling everything for him. And this is just what a man does. So the unspoken truth is, I will not ask you to feel me. You will not ask me to see you, and we'll survive together. That's the 3740 relationship. It works. Yeah, for sure it works, but it doesn't live. There's no growth and expansion here. And this is what's dissolving now. So now we get into the new model, and that's the 55 and the 59 is the new model. So 55 is abundance of spirit. 59 is intimacy and sexuality. This is not about a bargain. It says, I'm here because my spirit recognizes yours. My spirit, my soul is recognizing your soul and your spirit. I stay because I'm more myself with you, right? I belong because I don't have to become someone else. I can be myself with you. So this isn't about survival. It's about recognizing one another at the soul level, right? Remember, we're moving out of a first line theme, right? That we've been in since 1961 about looking for security and safety. We're moving out of that into the sixth line, which is completely different, right? We're not coming together just to survive. So what does this look like? The 55 and the 59, this new cross of sleeping phoenix relationships. It's like, well, she stays because she feels seen. She's not managed. She feels seen. Her body relaxes. Your body relaxes around him. You don't have to edit yourself. Your nervous system settles, and you can feel and you can speak your truth. And he stays because he doesn't have to pretend to be the macho guy. I'm the strong one. I don't feel. I don't have emotions. He can be tender with her without her losing respect for him. She sees the real him, not the role that he's playing. He doesn't have to carry it alone. He doesn't have to carry alone. And his vulnerability is welcome. His authenticity is welcome, and vice versa. So the unspoken truth with these new relationships, 55, 59, is I don't need you to survive. There's no transaction. It's not transactional love. I choose you because my soul recognizes home in you. That's the 55, 59. So it doesn't just survive. That goes without saying, right? That's not the motivation. It thrives. The relationship thrives. Both are transitioning. So right now we're in between the 40, 37 and the 55, 59. So this old model is dying, but the new model isn't fully here yet. And that's why relationships feel so unstable. So the 3740 contract no longer works, but people are keep trying and keep clinging, but it no longer works. This is the old institution that's going and collapsing. And the 55, 59 is calling you. You're probably experiencing that yourself. There's someone in your life or a group of people in your life that are calling you to this new relationship, right? And it's all about resonance. It's all about your soul and your spirit is calling you, but people don't trust it because it's new. But this is the new paradigm that's coming for 2027 and onward. This 3740 is no longer going to work. It's not going to work. So the in-between is a chaos. So people are leaving marriages now. they look fine. I don't know why I'm so unhappy. He's a good man or she's a good woman, but I feel like I'm dying inside, right? That's the 55 that's waking up in this structure. If you're in a 3740 structure, that's your 55 waking up, right? Or you feel like, oh, I'm attracted to the wrong person, right? This doesn't make any sense on paper at all. He's not responsible. He's not from my old type. I don't think he would be a good provider, right? Things like that. This doesn't make any sense, but I feel alive. I feel more alive with them than I've ever felt before. That's the 55 is coming up, right? And then there's the 59 is recognizing the fractal. He's on my fractal. There's a resonance there. I can feel it in my body, right? And then people staying single longer, they don't want to get into this anymore. That's why some of you are in lockdown, that have been single for a year or many years now. You're on lockdown because your soul is like, I can't go to this model, this transactional love. This is not what I want. I don't belong there. My signal does not belong in this frequency. That's why you're on lockdown, because you're waiting in a sense for this energy to come online, right? For your fractal members to get out of the false fractal and move more into their authenticity, onto the true fractal, right? So this is like, I'd rather be alone than pretend to have to put myself in a pretzel to belong to this marriage or this community. I can't do it anymore. So this is about waiting for the real one. It's about waiting for the real relationship. So the fractal relationship can feel like you don't have to explain yourself. You say something, they don't misinterpret it. You don't have to rephrase it. You don't have to defend your experience. They just get it. Not because they're perfect, because they're on the same frequency. They understand you. You understand them. Your body relaxes. You're not on edge. You're not scanning. You're not waiting for the other shoe to drop. You can breathe. You can relax fully, deeply. And your nervous system says, I'm safe here. I'm safe here. You can be messy. You don't have to have it all together. You can cry without them trying to fix you. You can cry in front of them. You can be angry in front of them, and they're not going to withdraw. They're not going to give you the silent treatment and make you wrong. They're going to hold. You can be confused without them judging you. You can express your confusion. It's a state, right? They're not going to judge you. They don't need you to be clean and perfect. They just need you to be real, right? And authentic. And then you feel like more like yourself, not less. So after being with them, you feel clear. You feel clearer. You feel stronger. You feel like more like you. And not because they gave you something, because they reflect it back, who you already are. That's your true fractal. And you don't lose yourself in them. You're still you, right? They're still them. You're still you, they're still them. And together you're more, not less. So no merging, no disappearing, no abandoning yourself to keep the connection. This is two whole people choosing themselves. This is the 55-59 that's coming, right? So the 37-40, the old way is I need you, so I will become what you need me to be. I need you for survival or whatever, right? To fit in to this false fractal, and then I'll become what you need me to be, right? This is the transaction. 55-59 is I don't need you. I choose you. I don't need you, but I choose you, and I will be myself with you. I won't go into a pretzel with you. I'll be my authentic self, and you can be your authentic self with me. And that's the shift, right? 37-40 is all about a need-based bonding. I need you. And this is like, no, you're on my fractal. We're resonating. We're vibing together by frequency, right? So why is this so scary for people? It sounds really good, doesn't it? Well, people are scared to death of it. The ego is scared to death of it because the old model's predictable. This is what you do. This is what I do. The shared labor. This is how our life works. I put out the garbage. You do the dishes, but that kind of thing. You knew what your role was. You knew what was expected. The new model, the 55-59, is like, you got to trust your body now, right? You have to trust your body. You're not in your mind with a role, right? With this. So there's no contract. You want to feel what's the new model require, right? It requires that you feel your feelings, the 55. Here, you feel your feelings. You trust your body, the 44. You open to real intimacy. You let yourself be seen, right? And your vulnerability and your messiness, as well as your strength, right? Being yourself without guarantee. Being yourself with guarantee. There's no contract. There's no bargain. There's no I love you until, right? I'll love you if you do this. There's just I see you, you see me. Let's walk together. I see the real you see the real me, and we're choosing to walk together. And that's scarier than any contract because you can't control it. You can only be it, right? So the old relationship asked, what can you do for me? What's in it for me? And the new relationship asks, who are you when you're free? Who are you when you're free from this contract? Right? Okay. So let's just go, because I want to do the reading soon too. But I want to talk about this. Are you still with me? Are you still feeling me? This is a lot, but I wanted to dive deep into this 44 because it's an important gate, especially right now, right? Okay. So we went over the cross of planning here. So let's look at this with this full moon. The full moon. So we've got the 51 and the 25 activated. And you can see Neptune is in the 25. Mars is in the 51. So there's a channel that's activated there. So this pattern is not just being revealed, it's being finished. So if you want this, right, if you're really committed to being your authentic self, not the cardboard cutout of what it means to be your authentic self, because that's not real. It's it has to come from you, your authentic signal. Then you have an opportunity. This is the channel of initiation. So this means you see the pattern, not for the first time, for the last time. I'm seeing this pattern for the last time. I'm ready to let go of this pattern, right? That's followed me this lifetime, past lives, my ancestors. I'm ready to let this pattern go. And if you're on my fractal, it's about sacrificing your authenticity for survival. It's that easy, right? Go there, and then things will expand from that place. Where am I compromising? Where am I sacrificing my authenticity for survival? And get real with yourself. Get your journal out. Start writing, meditate, be alone in your own aura, and get real with this pattern. So the 51, 25, this 25 is innocence and 51 is shock. This means the shock breaks your denial. And the innocence keeps you open, keeps your heart open. You're not shutting down. And then the 37-40 is you feel the tribal bond, but you must stand alone to keep it real. You have to put yourself first right now. You need to let go of any guilt or shame about putting yourself first. You put yourself first. This is your journey, right? If you're with a false fractal person, they're not, you have to stand alone. You have to detach from that false fractal so that you can really discern, right, for yourself, what's authentic for me. So this isn't I see my pattern and now I try to change it. This is I see my pattern and I can't unsee it anymore. You don't change the pattern. You refuse to not look at it anymore. This is shocking you out of denial, right? Before you saw the pattern and you went back, and now you see it and the old option just disappears. It's not there. You can't go back. Your awareness is expanded. Once you see it, the door, you go back to, oh, I got to go back here. The door is slammed shut. You can't get back, right? You can't get back. Okay. So you'll know the pattern is completing when you feel it, right? Before you felt it, you felt the pattern. There's something off here and you explained it away with your mind. You knew it, but you didn't trust it. You saw it, but you stayed anyway. And now you feel it and you can't pretend. The mind the ego has no power now, right? You know and you can't unsee it. You see it and the old choice becomes impossible, right? And this is because the pattern is losing its grip, right? So you're ready to let this go. You're ready to let this go. Okay. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is prosperity and the fractal and why this is important. Prosperity, right, in the fractal. Because there's a new prosperity model that's coming, and this is really up right now, and the fractal is around prosperity. Okay, all these institutions are collapsing. What's this going to look like, right? This new model. Well, it has very much to do with your fractal, right? Your true fractal. So money, it's not about money first, right? But underneath the money is belonging, exchange, frequency, and environment. So when somebody's on the wrong fractal, prosperity will get blocked because their energy is being programmed by the wrong environment. They're with the wrong people, the wrong roles, wrong motivations, and wrong culture. So your body starts adapting to a world that you don't belong to. This is not self. And this effects will really start to affect your prosperity now, right? So this is how people make money and they still feel poor. So prosperity is not necessarily about money. So if we look at culture is not just community, it's where your gifts are in the larger organism, in the larger fractal, right? So you're here to serve, contribute in your unique way with your fractal. That's where prosperity comes for you. And it can be seen in your chart. It can be seen in your chart. So prosperity starts when you stop asking, how do I get people to value me? That's the old way, the cross of planning. And now you start asking yourself, where does my gift naturally belong? Where does my gift naturally belong in the fractal? So your false fractal is going to completely block your prosperity. And that's the trap. Because your false fractal recognizes your usefulness. You can be useful to us, but that doesn't recognize your worth. Your false fractal will never recognize your true worth. Different frequency. And that's the trap, right? The false fractal wants your energy. They want your talent. They want your emotional labor. They want your creativity. They definitely want your loyalty. They want your visibility. But they don't honor your essence. So you could be needed. We really need you here in the false fractal. You do this and you do that for us, but you're not valued, right? So the old cross of planning prosperity is you belong because you serve a function. You play a role. And the sleeping phoenix prosperity says you prosper because your frequency is recognized. We recognize your frequency. Do you see? That comes first. And then your contribution, you can see that in the chart, in the human design, and how this works. So we're going to see this more and more come online, right? So when you find your true fractal, your soul family, your soul allies, these people are going to recognize your worth. They're going to recognize your true worth, right? And in my experience, because I've met people on my fractal, but they're so identified with this image, that the cardboard cutout, that I recognize this, that's hiding, the true essence that's hiding behind this image. But they're so identified with their image, they don't even know who they are. They think they know who they are. They think they're this image, right? So this is like there, you can meet people on your fractal, but they're at a different stage. Does it mean they're less than you or less evolved than you? No, not necessarily. They're just at a different point on their path, right? So you can value this, but they need to learn to value that. Like being a fractal, like I see you, I see your worth, I see your potential. Why are you playing this game? Right? There's no worth here. It's all fake. It's because they're in the wrong environment. They're with the false fractal. So just keep that in mind, that you may meet people on your fractal and they're just not ready yet. Their signal isn't strong enough. But part of them recognized you, right? If they come in your field, yeah, their soul recognized your soul. And that's how it works. There needs to be a recognition first. Not a convincing, not a forcing. None of that will work with people on your fractal. Right? So the new prosperity model is this recognition. And you're not convincing, you're not proving, you're not over delivering. You're not, look at me, I'm competent. The exchange is clean. And this is why the true fractal feels so different. Right? They don't just buy the thing that you're offering, whatever your offer is. They recognize the field, right? There's a field. This person gets me, right? They're on my fractal. So they don't consume your work. They enter into your field. It's all about fields of energy now that we're creating, right? Anyway, I could talk more about that, but I will be talking a lot about this and the prosperity live online retreat. So remember that you will be with your fractal, because the fractal is attracted to this. They show up for this, right? So you're already in the field right here. So you'll go deeper into what your contribution is to the fractal, right? We'll go deep into that and go deep, deep, deep into this new prosperity paradigm that's coming online, right? So that you get to understand, right? But also, more importantly, your unique contribution, like you can go deep in it. And so there's a field, like I talk about, there's a field that's created with these retreats. And so that means there's a purity of energy. And it's like like a lot of people have said, oh, it's like I'm in a real retreat. And I felt the same too. I've taught lots of retreats in 3D back in the day, and I feel the same way online. So there's a magic that happens when we all gather together. So I'm really excited to present this, and this is going to be all like new, right? I'm an 8. My sun is in gate 8, and my earth is in the 14th gate, right? And we got the new moon during this retreat in Taurus, right? We've got the new relationship nodes come online like 2 days before the retreat. They're moving from 3740 to 5559. We're in the 814 energy, right? That weekend. And 14, if you've got the 14th gate, let me know. That's like having a silver spoon. You're coming in with a golden spoon in your mouth, right? That's directly connected to prosperity in the human design chart is the 14th gate. So we'll be going deep into that energy too. So I'm really I'm really looking forward to this and how this can help and serve my fractal as well as myself. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the readings here. So this is a good idea if you're watching this, is to put it on pause and take a deep breath, go walk around, and then have some water and then come back. So this is where we ground the energy. Okay, so let's start off with the general fractal, the Phoenix fractal. And we're talking about the full moon in Scorpio in gate 44 here. Okay. And so what pattern is completing for my fractal? That was the question. What old pattern is completing? Well, I have to make it happen. I have to make everything happen. So the magician is mastery. So you've been the one to see the vision, to speak it into existence, conjure from nothing, and make a way out of no way, right? So this is the old pattern. So it worked for you. You made things happen in your life. You built things. You manifested. You proved that you could. But the Ace of Pentacles now says the opportunity, right? It doesn't need this anymore. You don't need to conjure, right? You don't need to go into like manifestation affirmations and things like that. This is saying that the opportunity is already arriving and the door is already opening for you for this full moon. And the signal that you're sending out, your authentic signal, it's already attracting this Ace of Pentacles to you, right? So the pattern completing is I have to be self-reliant as a survival mechanism. There's nobody else around me, so I have to do it all. If I don't do it, no one else will. If I don't do this work, no one else will. I can only count on me. I have to be the one that creates from nothing. So what's replacing it is the ace without being forced. You become the vessel, you see? You become the receiver, not the generator. You become the flower, not the bee. You're not the bee buzzing around doing all the work. You're the flower, you're just receiving, right? You're receiving. So this pattern, I have to do everything myself, is ending, right? So where are you still overriding what you know? Gate 44 is the body, right? You already know. Where are you still overriding it? Well, the Five of Cups and the King of Wands. The Five of Cups is there's grief here. You went through loss. These Three of Cups, right? He's looking down at the Three of Cups. This says you went through a lot of loss. I hear that from people. There's disappointment, right? Things didn't land the way that you wanted to. People didn't recognize you. Things didn't work out. Maybe you started a business. Things didn't work out. Your relationship didn't work out. Your friendship didn't work out, right? People couldn't see you. They couldn't meet you, right? This could feel like everything you did, all the effort you did just fell into a black void, right? But you didn't show it. The King of Wands is like, doesn't show that, right? Doesn't mourn, doesn't cry publicly, right? Cries in the privacy of his home, her home. The King of Wands holds the vision. The King of Wands stays strong, right? Stays strong. So what you're doing is you're pretending that you're self-sovereign and you got it all together, but you got this unprocessed loss, right? So this is where you feel the Five of Cups. I feel this grief and disappointment, but you're showing the world the King of Wands because you think that your community, the people around you, need you to be strong. But what actually your true fractal needs you to be real and authentic, right? So this is to own this. Like, yeah, I went through a lot of loss. right? Since 2020, maybe 2012, I've gone through loss and disappointment after disappointment, right? That you don't need to show this all the time. This is about vulnerability, right? Authenticity always comes with vulnerability because it comes with the heart. The heart has to open, right? To be vulnerable and authentic. Heart has to be open. So, what's being cut away? Well, this is your ego's relationship to success, the Six of Wands. This is the victory parade. This is like, look at me, right? This is being seen winning. I'm winning. Being recognized as the one that made it. The external confirmation that you're right, right? This could be your family. I'm finally proving that I have worth. Look at me. I'm getting accolades now, right? People are appreciating me, being recognized as the one that made it, maybe in your family. What's falling away is the need to be seen this way, right? This is the pretend. This is the image. I have to show this image for my family, maybe, right? To like show them that they can do it too. Well, it's false right here. So the old pattern is if they see me win, then I know it's real, right? If they recognize me, then I can trust my signal. It means my signal's on. I'm authentic, right? If they recognize me. And the new pattern, it's real, whether it's seen or not. Whether it's seen or not. If you're not seen, it's still real, your signal. You don't need proof that it's real, right? Your signal, if you're on a desert island and nobody can see you, does that mean your signal's not real? No, it's real. Or if you're surrounded by people and that recognize you, yeah, the signal's real too, right? So you can't be, what this is saying is you can't be attached to this. I need to be validated, that I'm on the right path. I need this validation. I trust the signal without having it validated externally, right? So what's dying is the part of you that needs the applause to know that the show was good. Your contribution was good. So there's lots of applause. There's likes, right? There's compliments, right? There's adoration. It's like, no, you just have to trust, right? So the artist knows that the work is done. The creator knows that the work is done with or without the standing ovation, right? So it's letting go of this validation. And so what does your true fractal look like in your body? The high priestess, right? So this is stillness. Your stillness knows. Your silence knows. Not excitement, not intensity, not this is amazing. This is just the quiet certainty. This person's on my fractal. It's just a knowingness. I know they're on my fractal. This is a deep, deep internal yes. The body's at rest. There's nothing to prove. There's nothing to chase. There's nothing to explain. The high priestess doesn't convince. She doesn't put on a dog and pony show. She doesn't justify. She just sits with what she knows, right? And that's what true fractal feels like. You don't have to explain why you belong. You just belong, right? There's no editing. There's no putting on a show. There's no translating yourself, constantly explaining yourself. It's just the body knows I'm home, right? That's how you know. And how do you hold the signal without collapsing back? The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. So this is, you don't hold it. You don't hold the signal. The wheel says you're not in control of the turning. This wheel turns whether you want it to turn or not. So this is a relief. So the old way is you gripped harder onto things, right? When they felt uncertain to force the outcome, to make it happen. That's the shadow of the magician. The new way is you trust the cycle. You let the wheel turn. Know what's aligned will arrive in its own time. You trust the divine timing of things. right? The magician made things. I have to make something happen, right? The wheel just allows things to unfold and let them happen. That's the shift. That's how you hold the signal. You're really trusting in the divine timing. And then the anchor card, the fear, the ego card is fear, is fear. So the ego, right, will say, fear me. If I feel fear, that means I have to stop. This means something's wrong. This means I'll lose. This means I'm unsafe. But the soul says fear means feel. Doesn't mean stop. It just means feel. Fear is activation. Fear is the energy moving through your nervous system to be transmuted, and you transmute it by feeling it. So fear isn't meaning stop. The ego will say, well, you're feeling fear, so that means this is unsafe and you need to stop. No. Fear coming up means that you need to feel it because it's residue moving out of your system, right? So you can't let fear run the show. Fear, right? Fear of not being able to manifest with the magician. Fear of feeling the loss, the Five of Cups. Fear of being seen as weak and not powerful, right? Six of Wands, fear of not being recognized, not being seen. The wheel is the fear of unknown, fear of not controlling the outcome. I have to control. That's the fear. And what this spread is saying, can you feel the fear? Can you just feel the fear and be okay with just feeling the fear, right? Without letting it dictate your decisions? Can you let the activation move without letting the ego like do the worst case scenario? This will be happen. You'll live in a ditch, right? You'll have no money. You have to eat things out of the dumpster diver, whatever nightmare story the ego will tell you. You allow yourself to be in that fear, be in those sensations without creating a story about it. Can you trust the wheel without trying to put a stick in the spoke? Can you just allow it to turn, right? So this is showing you the old identity is the magician that had to make it happen, the King of Wands that couldn't show grief, the Six of Wands that needs a parade and the standing ovation to move forward, and then the fear that says if I stop controlling, I'll lose everything. So the new identity for you is the Ace of Pentacles that arrives easy, right? The Ace of Pentacles arriving easy. And I think today is the Saturn sextile Venus. So that fits with this Ace of Pentacles. Right? So the new identity is like to let this Ace of Pentacles come in, this opportunity. Allow yourself to finally feel the grief. And the High Priestess that knows who is on her fractal and who isn't. She doesn't need receipts. She doesn't need proof. And the wheel that turns without you gripping, right? So you're not losing control. You're losing the need to be in control. So you're not losing control here. You're losing the need, that identity that needs to be in control. So that's good. Just going to have some water here. Okay. And remember with fear that it's just a frequency, right? It's a frequency, like it says here, right? The ego wants to interpret that fear. And the thing is, when you move away out of the morphogenic field, out of this false fractal, fear comes up. It's part of the deal of being a human and moving towards your soul purpose. You will feel fear, right? This can be ancestral fear, past life fear, right? If you're a past life Cathar, to be seen, to speak the truth, fear can come up. Fear, fear, fear. So you're going to have to deal with fear anyway, right? So you might as well deal with fear in moving forward on your soul purpose. So that means that fear is a sensation in your body. The ego wants to create a story about it and wants to interpret it as a threat, right? And so this is about the ego wants to create a story to avoid the feeling because it's not comfortable. Fear does not feel good. It's not a comfortable frequency to live in. But it will keep coming back until you feel it. You just feel it. And what do? You're alone. Put your eyes at the tip of your nose. That's a way to focus the mind. Do some long, deep breathing and let the sensations move without story. You have a big boo-hoo. You have a little cry, right? And then you're done. You don't have to be the king or queen of wands all the time. You can go into this grief, right? And then it's like you're clear. I'm clear. I'm moving forward now. It's gone. It's gone. Right? So don't let fear inform your choices. That's a no-no on the path right now. You do not choose from fear. That's not the place to go. That's the old cross of planning way. Okay, so let's go for the twin flames here. And remember, the twin flame path is the path of awakening, the path of self-sovereignty. Remember I talked about the 55-59? Go back if you haven't listened to this. The 55-59, this is the new relationship paradigm. Twin flames are completely aligned with this new way of relating to another. And this is the I see you, right? The Two of Cups. I see you, the real you. You see the real me. And I'm choosing to walk with you. And I'm choosing to walk with you back, right? There's no need. There's no like, I need you for this, and I need you to play this role, right? That's the old cross of planning way. It's like, there's no need. It's I recognize you. That's the fractal, right? I recognize you on my fractal. It's the twin flame journey. Okay. So what's being activated in this connection right now? What energy is being activated in this connection? The Empress. Isn't that beautiful? So this isn't about romance. It's about creation, right? The Empress is ruled by Venus, right? Right, there's the Venus symbol right up there. She's very creative. She's abundant, right? The Empress doesn't just love. She generates. She's the earth. She represents the earth. That's the belly, right? Pregnant. She's the earth that receives the seed and brings forth life. She's the womb. She's the fertile ground. So what's activating for you is the potential for something to be created, the potential to create something real, the two of you together. So it's not a relationship. It's not a love story. It's a field. And the twin flames, when they come together, they form this powerful field. That's why there's so much blockage. There's so much resistance to twin flames coming together because of the power of the field that they create together, right? So this is a living, breathing, generating, fertile space where something can be born. Not a child, but something born, something creative through the both of you. But it doesn't belong to either one of you. And I've talked about this with twin flames and high-level relationships. 1 + 1 = 11. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 for twin flames. It equals 11 here. So this is something being born not from you, them, but from the both of you coming together, something incredible is being born. That's what's being activated right now. So the Empress says the connection isn't about you two coming together, right? It's about what wants to be born through you, what wants to be born through you. Not about you two coming together, but what is driving this connection is something that wants to be born through you, right? A contribution. So this activation is creative. It's creativity that wants to move through the twin flames. So it's not romantic. It's not personal, right? It's like an archetype. It's an archetype. So this is very, very powerful. And this is being activated in both. So both are going to feel this, right? So what distortion is still in the way? And this is interesting, right? The Two of Cups. You wouldn't think that. But let's read it from this perspective. So this looks like the goal, doesn't it? We finally come into union. The soulmate card. We finally found each other moment. But the distortion is the romantic idealization of it, of the connection. So the fantasy, this is a fantasy. If we just come together, everything will resolve, right? If we just choose each other, the pain will end. If we just unite, we'll be complete. So the Two of Cups distortion is you're looking at this as the destination, right? A lot of twin flames do this. This is the destination, us coming together, right? But this isn't the point. The union isn't the point. What the union generates, what the union creates, that's the point. That's the destination, not the coming together. This is the creating the field, right? To allow that Empress energy to come and create. Empress, Emperor coming together, right? To create something to the world. So it's not about this, like the union. That's not the destination. So as long as the focus is on the Two of Cups, the romantic narrative, then you stay in the loop. Will we come together? Won't we come together? Are they choosing me? Right? That's not the signal. That's the interference. So not getting caught up in that. That's the loop. Will they or won't they? Right? So what's being cleared or broken down right now is the Lovers. So the Lovers is the card of choice. It's a card of choice. And what's dying is the idea that the connection is about choosing each other. The romantic narrative, the story says we choose each other, we pick each other, we decide to be together. But in a true fractal connection, you don't choose each other. You don't choose each other. You recognize each other. This is soul recognition. And the thing is, the soul, the choice was already made. The choice was already made at the soul level before you even met. Right? Before you even met in 3D, there's a point that the soul chose. The soul chose. So what's being cleared is the ego's need to be the one who decides. I'm in control of this connection. I either go towards them or I avoid them. That's the ego's need to be the one who decides. No, your soul already decided long ago. The control narrative around is that we choose this. The twins are choosing this. The romantic story says that our love is a choice we make. But what's replacing it here is recognition, right? Not choice. Remembrance, not a decision. An alignment. Alignment, not effort. So the Lovers is dying in this sense so that something more honest and true can emerge. And this is like, we didn't choose this. This chose us, right? The soul chose this. Spirit chose this. The divine chose this. We didn't choose. I didn't choose this. You didn't choose this. The divine chose us, right? And our only job is to stop resisting it. The twin flames have to stop resisting. The soul is choosing you and this connection for a reason. This Empress energy wants to create something through the both of you. So, what's the true connection beneath the distortion of this distortion is the sun, right? So, the sun doesn't want romance. The sun's not about romance. The sun's about reveal. It's revealing things. So, the true connection is mutual illumination. Both are being illuminated by this connection. So this isn't about saving each other. It's not about completing each other. It's not about fixing each other, healing each other. It's about seeing each other clearly. I see you. You see me. We're choosing to walk this path, right? Or surrendering to that we've been chosen to walk this path. We've been chosen. The ego's not choosing. So see each other clearly, warming each other with presence and bringing light into each other's shadows, right? Like I say before, there's the twin flame is a powerful mirror, right? So it can show you, your twin flame can show you the deepest unconscious hidden shadows. So Scorpio, right? Can show you that. Like no other person on the planet can show you those shadows like your twin flame, right? That's why it's uncomfortable to be around the twin flame at certain points, right? Because the shadows start to come up. So you can see them and integrate them and heal them, right? So the sun is just what it is. It doesn't hide. It doesn't manipulate. It doesn't play games. It just shines. And in that shining, right? Everything hidden is revealed. So the true connection isn't about coming together in a dramatic union. It's about two people who see each other so clearly that there's nowhere to hide and they stay anyway. This is like the glass house. Remember, I used this analogy before. It's like your twin is in a glass house and you're in a glass house, right? And you're trying to hide false fractal, you can hide, but not with the twin, right? You've got a glass closet, glass furniture, glass rooms, right? And you're like, there you are in the closet trying to hide. And your twin is like, no, I see you. What are you doing? And your other twin is saying, I see you too, right? So this is about seeing each other so clearly that you can't hide. You can't hide parts of yourself from the twin and vice versa. And there they are. They stay anyway. They love you anyway, right? All these things that you've been ashamed of and guilty about and right, that you hated yourself about, right? There the twin is seeing it and they love you anyway. That's unconditional love and vice versa. That's the sun. So it's not about romance because romance is performance. It's a script. This is what we do, right? This is revelation. This is revelation. So that's what it's truly about, right? What's beneath this distortion is this sun energy where you're revealed, right? And this, you can love yourself unconditionally then. It helps you to do that, doesn't it? So what aligns the connection? The Knight of Wands. So this is forward motion. It's not waiting for the other person. It's not holding space indefinitely for them. It's not pausing your life until you're ready, but this is moving with your fire, right? Following your purpose. Where are you being guided right now? Trusting that aligned motion creates aligned connection, right? So you move first. You're not waiting for them. Well, when they show up, then I'll move. It's like, no, you move now, and then the connection is there, Remember, with the fractal, you shift, your whole fractal shifts. You shift, the twin flame shifts, right? But you're not doing it for, I'm doing it so those can catch up. No, you're doing your purpose. So no more hesitation, moving forward on your purpose. So this is like the Knight of Wands doesn't ask for permission, doesn't ask, is this the right time? Right? Knight of Wands doesn't check if the other person's ready. He rides, he gets on that horse and rides with his wand. So alignment happens when both are in their fire. When you're in your fire and they're in their fire, when you're in your purpose and they're in the purpose and you're both in movement, what you do, what you discover is you're riding in the same direction, right? There you are, you're riding on your horse and you look over and there they are going in the same direction, the shared soul purpose, this creation, this Empress energy. It's not different, right? It's the same. It's the same, but it's going to grow. 1 + 1 = 11. Soul purpose gets magnified, right? Because it's coming through this connection. So you don't say, I'll slow down so they can catch up. It's like, I'm going. And if they're meant to ride with me, right, they'll be in their own horse. They're not going to be riding the back of you on your horse. They're going to be riding their own horse, right? That's how you'll know. So let's look at these ego cards, because these are can be major challenges. And look what it is, ego death. This is like the most intense card in my ego deck cards. So obsessive thinking, that's totally comes with the twin flame journey. And you all know that. If you've been on the twin flame journey for a while, you know this is one of the first steps with recognition. So this is, you're not thinking about them. You're avoiding feeling yourself, right? So this would be like replaying conversations over and over, imagining future scenarios, trying to figure out what they feel, getting in mental spirals, like what this is about, getting drained from hours of thinking, or they're just in there. You're not even trying to think. They're just thoughts of them are there. What's really happening is you're avoiding feeling yourself. So when your mind gets activated like that, that's the ego preventing you from the feeling underneath this. So avoiding feeling yourself. So the mind loops because the body is holding the charge, the desire, the grief, the fear, the longing, and the mind is coming in to try to manage it. So the obsession isn't really about the connection. It's about avoiding what the connection is activating in you. Remember, the twin activates something in you. It activates your divine spark and your authenticity, your authentic self, right? But the mind is trying to come in and manage it and suppress it. So something got activated in you from your twin. So the ego death is a familiar identity is dissolving, and that identity could be the one that waits, the one that was waiting to be chosen, the old cross of planning way, the one that just waits, the one who chooses, right? The one who makes it happen, the one who holds the vision for both of us, the one that holds space for both of us. That identity is dissolving, and the ego is terrified. Right? So this is, if I let go, they'll go. It will never happen for me, right? If I stop controlling, everything will fall apart. If I stop waiting, they'll forget me. But the truth is, what you're afraid of losing is already gone. What you're afraid of falling apart is already broken. And what you're afraid of forgetting was never yours to keep, right? So this is not about a love story, twin flame connections. It's not about a love story. It's about activating your creative power, your creativity. It's about breaking away from the romantic fantasy, the Two of Cups as distortion, dissolving your needs to choose and control, revealing you to yourself. The twin flame is revealing you to you, your true authentic self. And then this puts you in motion, right? So this obsessive thinking, this is like Nine of Swords energy, right? I'm up at 3 a.m. and I'm obsessively thinking about my twin, right? This is all about avoiding feeling. So go to the feelings, okay? I'm going to put my eyes at the tip of my nose to lock my mind in. And I'm just going to breathe long and deep, and then I let the feelings come up. This is what's trying to prevent the feelings to come up, and the feelings are the purification. That's your alchemy work, right? Um and then your old identity around this connection is dying. Whatever your identity, what identity showed up with your twin, maybe a defensive identity, right? I can't reveal too much, or I'm suspicious of them, or whatever projection, that's dying. That's dying. The part of you that didn't want to be vulnerable, didn't want to show yourself, hiding, keeping secrets, this is all dying now, right? And then you can project catastrophe to avoid the surrender. What happens if I lose control? Well, you become more you, basically, right? So this connection isn't about giving you a partner. It's about to put you in your purpose. And if they're meant to ride with you, they'll find their own horse. You don't have to wait around for them to jump on your horse, right? You keep moving on your horse, stay in your lane, keep riding, riding, riding. This is God's Uber, right? You're jumping in God's Uber, and this horse, Knight of Wands, and you're riding. And then if they're meant to ride with you, they'll be in their horse, and you'll be going the same direction. Okay, so that's what I have, and so you can follow me on Instagram, Telegram, YouTube, and I post daily. I try to post daily on the transits with my memes. And I may try something. I tried something last week I took a clip from my last transmission, and I'm just trying things out, and I'm going to try something out on Tuesday. So look for a video on Tuesday. It will be a shorty. Not too short, like not probably 15 or 20 minutes, but it will be not like a live stream, but it will be live and fresh, right? Because I feel like I'm at my best when, because I've got the 1-8, right? The channel of the role model, the 1-8 channel, and that's about the now. So I feel like my gifts really come in the present now moment, and that's how I lead. And leading for me means to be in the field, right? I'm in the full moon energy right now, communicating to you, sending out my signal to you. So look for that on Tuesday. And if you're on my newsletter list, then you're alerted to when the video drops. Same time, right? In the morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also keep this in mind. Part of my role as a leader, that's actually in my human design, I have the motivation of desire, and the trajectory is leadership. So part of my leadership responsibility to my fractal is prosperity. And I know this is what keeps people from moving forward on their soul purpose, is this fear of, will I have enough? Will I be supported? Right? Will I have enough material resources? So we want to really go deep with this and get our fractal on this vibration frequency of prosperity, what true prosperity means, not what the cross of planning taught you. That was imposed on you. What prosperity? Well, you have a lot of money, right? You go on vacations, you have your vacation home, you have this home, you have all these material things. That's an imposition of prosperity onto you. You have your unique experience of prosperity. And remember, we'll look deep into your fractal, what you're here to contribute to the fractal. This is the time to start aligning with this energy, right? Because the shift is coming soon. What are we in the 5th month now? It's May 1st. 2027 is coming soon. Okay, so let me know if you enjoyed that. And wow, it's a 2-hour transmission this time. But it was needed. It was needed. Okay. And please comment. I love reading your comments below, and other people do too. And remember, when in doubt, trust, have faith in your authenticity, and have trust and faith in the answers that are already inside you. You just need to silence yourself, right? Meditation, be alone in solitude, and let things emerge, right? If you have emotional work to do, your job is to feel. You feel your emotions, and then clarity comes. Clarity doesn't come when you're in a turbulent state with your emotions. Okay, and I will see you in the next video. Satnam Aloha.